What's up, meta nerds? This video is all about the Geonosian species. They're one of the most important species in Star Wars because of their critical role during the Clone Wars and because they helped build the Death Star. These guys all live on the planet Geonosis, and they're classified as sentient insectoids. They have both winged and wingless versions, which we'll talk about later, and their average height is about 1.7 meters or 5.5 feet. Their bodies are covered in a thick chitinous exoskeleton, which has hues that range from dark orange to green. Natural selection did its thing, and it helped shape the course of the Geonosian evolution, both in their biology and their society. Their chitinous exoskeleton changed over millions of years to be able to better block the radiation, and to try and stay out of the radiation in the first place, they always built their cities underground. And despite seeming rather thin and scrawny, they were actually extremely strong and could lift objects many times their own weight. Their lifespan is similar to humans, but they mature much faster. Geonosians between the age of 1 and 6 are considered children. 7 to 10-year-old Geonosians would be like human teenagers, and at the age of 11, these bugs became full-fledged adults. And a middle-aged Geonosian was 36 to 50 years old. Geonosians that lived to be older than 65 years old were said to be very late into their old age. But now that you know a little bit about their biology, we need to learn about how their society operated. Everything was organized by a strict caste system, and whatever caste you were born into pretty much determined the course of your entire life. The two main castes were the warrior caste and the worker caste. Both of these castes had subgroups, and at the very top of the system was the queen. Let's start with the lowest group, the workers. Like their name suggests, this is the caste that had to build everything. They made the spires that we see, and the labyrinthian underground cities. They also built all the droids, weapons, and vehicle factories, as well as the enormous projects like the Petranaki arena. As you might have expected, the higher caste members didn't really treat these guys with a lot of respect, and they would often force the lower caste members to work under incredibly difficult conditions, and felt no remorse when another Geonosian died during construction. Forced to work underground for generations, there started to be biological differences between the castes. Many of them were born with vestigial wings, which just means that they are non-functioning wings after having thousands of years with no need to develop them. What's perhaps craziest of all is how the caste system normalized this treatment. Many members of the worker caste were perfectly fine with living out their years in this lesser role. They took a lot of pride in being the ones that built the civilization, and bought into the concept that the higher caste members were better suited to actually rule everything and tell them what to do. Some, however, wanted to break free from the worker class, and the only option they had to do this was through gladiatorial combat. Those who wanted to advance the ranks of society would have to fight against other Geonosians, other aliens, or terrifying creatures that were brought in from different planets, or just some local scary creatures. If a Geonosian from this lesser caste survived, they could win a bunch of money and would sometimes buy their way off of the planet, or they might achieve social status and move up into the warrior caste system. One famous Geonosian that did this was Poggle the Lesser, with that little part tacked on the end there, reminding the other aristocrats, and perhaps a source of great pride for Poggle himself, that he was once a member of the lesser caste. Now let's talk about the warrior caste. They were better biologically suited for combat, and all had functional wings. Trained from a young age, they were deadly warriors who were very skilled at being able to work together to swarm their opponent. But even this caste is broken up into two subgroups, the elites and the regulars. Geonosian elite warriors are even tougher biologically, and thus were able to be equipped with cybernetics. These Geonosians could use beam weapons, which are actually linked to the creature's central nervous system, allowing them to control this weapon like it was an extension of their body. And it is unknown whether or not this extra pair of legs here was the result of genetic engineering, or just a weird expression due to selective breeding. The regular warriors were equipped with force pikes and sonic blasters, but even though they're called warriors, they weren't a part of any official military, because the Geonosians as a species generally worked together. Instead, the warrior caste provided the role of security and law enforcement, while also being able to command worker caste members. In the rare times that they were approached by off-worlders, like when the Trade Federation and Techno Union wanted their help in building a droid army, it was the warrior caste who would deal with signing contracts and figuring out the logistics of their droid factories. At the very top of the caste system was the queen. Right away you'll notice that she has 6 limbs instead of 4, and that most of her body is this enormous ovipositor, which is just a big word for an organ which allows you to lay eggs. Like the very industrious Geonosians, the queen is no slacker, as she can lay a new egg every 8 seconds. The queen also had a larger head than regular Geonosians, and a large crest on the top of her head that gave her a very regal look. And the queen operated almost like a radio tower, as all the Geonosians of the same hive have minds that are somewhat linked, meaning that she could telepathically give commands to members of the same hive. What's more is that she had control of what are called brainworms. These brainworms could be put into all kinds of other species, and we saw how Queen Karina the Great used them against clones and Barriss Offee. I want to go ahead and stop it there, and we'll call this part 1 of the Geonosian species. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button, and be sure to leave a comment down below if I missed any cool facts, or if you have a suggestion for future videos. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at MetaNerdsLore, so you can see us build Star Wars props and cosplays, along with some other cool Star Wars stuff. If you want to help support this channel, check out the description below for our Amazon store and our Patreon. And be sure to subscribe, because we're making videos like this every single day. But more important than all that, remember, always have a friend check you for brainworms, and the Force will be with you, always.